that a printer, a real print shop can use, right? Or you're trying to print something for a publication, a book, a magazine, right? There's still a lot of print in this world. People don't think about it because maybe, they don't use a lot of it, right? But any of you guys who love books, magazines, actual physical stuff, the world of print, as far as I know, will never disappear. I hope not, right? Um, but anyway, okay, so we can talk about that all day. Let's go. Can you guys see? Yeah? All right. So let's go there. And I forgot, I did add let's do this together. The pictures, some of the basic pictures we're going to use. I added this right now a few minutes ago. So it says pics to use, zip, right? It's compressed. So make sure you have the CD design template and pics to use. There's only like 3 pictures in there. All right. Cool. David S. Pumpkins. There you go. Anybody know who David S. Pumpkins is? David S. Pumpkins? You're lucky. All right. And if you haven't finished the pen tool exercise, the French curve, we'll have some time today, right? I saw some people haven't turned that in. I do need it. And as always, uh, don't judge me by my desktop. That happens when I use the projector, it jumbles it all up. Yes, I have too many things on my desktop. Don't do what I do. Uh, but remember, I'm 54 years old. You guys are just starting, so uh, I have the right to have a messy desktop. Sorry. Every now and then I'll throw everything in a folder. All right, so here's my template, right? If you haven't opened it, open that in Illustrator. Let me move this around. Sorry, the projector squishes everything together. All right, here's my CD design template. And in the old days, I can tell you, I used to have to make everything, right? Um, you're lucky that nowadays we've got so much technology that we don't have to build a lot of these things from scratch. Ever since the advent of the internet, you could, Matias, can you stop making noise with that, please? Um, you can pretty much, I got these actually, I'm going to tell the truth. I got these years ago from a website called Vistaprint. If you guys ever need to print stuff, it's great to print stuff locally with your local printers, but I'm gonna be honest, sometimes it's just way cheaper. Say you get a client later and you want just basic business cards, right? Um, it's so much cheaper to get them printed outside of town and then shipped in. And they offer these templates for you to download for free if you're just doing stuff with them. Okay, so I got these from there, so they're 100% the correct size, right? Uh, and I want to make it very clear and show you guys here these first 2 documents on this file. All right, everybody here with me? All right, because from this, we're going to jump to the Photoshop and you have to have this open. All right. The number one thing about anything we're doing in print, does anyone remember there's 2 color modes in computer graphics? There's what we use for print and there's what we use for the internet. Anyone remember what color modes? Beautiful, Matias. Beautiful. You're gonna get free stuff Fridays right now. I'm gonna find something to give you. Yes, CMYK and RGB, right? So CMYK, cyan, yellow, magenta, and K or key, right? But that's really black, the black ink color. Anything you guys have ever held in your hands that's been printed, a box, your Apple phone came in a box, your Takis that you ate earlier today, right? Um, anything that is packaging for any product, it is most likely 100% CMYK process, right? They print one of those colors at a time. I'm going to try and set up a field trip later on at a local print shop here down the street, Tobar Printing. They're always very nice to us. They've never denied us going there, so you guys can see how some of that stuff works. Now, a lot of it is digital printing nowadays. That is, they use almost like copy machines. Some of that stuff can work as RGB, but the number one thing I'm getting to is make sure your document is in CMYK color mode. And as I show you next, when we get to the Photoshop stuff, that stuff has to be also CMYK, right? The last thing you want, and please listen to me, and I learned from experience back in the day doing like boot catalogs, uh, anything that's a catalog that's printed, every single file must be CMYK formatted, right, or saved. Because if you send something to a print shop and it's RGB, it'll tend to not print correctly. Some printers will even deny doing the work. They will not process it if you send them a CMYK Illustrator file or PDF and your images that you place in there are RGB. All right. I used to work at a print shop locally here, Airport Printing. I was literally instructed by my bosses, if somebody sends you a file like that, let me know right away. And they would have somebody call them and say, we can't accept this file. Now, you would have clients that say, well, can't you guys change it? You're like, sure, we'll charge you $100 an hour to do that. And then they would change their mind and have somebody else send it back. All right. So CMYK, always when we're doing print, guys. All right. Everybody got that? All right. So I'm going to go over this template real quick. This is the front, and we've looked at the CD designs. And right now, when we turn the lights back on after this, I'll show you. Remember, these are not, and it tells you right there, these are not three separate documents as far as when we print them out, right? These first two, notice they're exactly the same size, are the front and the back of the front insert. And I even wrote it here for you guys. I know not a lot of people read these days. Please note, this panel is not a separate panel, exclamation point, right? It is, and it's all caps. I'm not upset, all right? But this is, these two are the front. And maybe later what we could do, we can separate them so people don't get confused, right? But this is the front, this is the back. And right now I'm going to have you guys type that down here, right? So let's do that together. So let's go to your layers. Cool. And go right here to the template guides layer. And down here, just choose the default font. Let's use our type tool, Command T. We'll bring out your character palette, right? And then I can't see my tools on mine. Let's see where they are. Those are my glyphs. Hold on. Again, I tell you, my projector kind of messes things up here. Toolbars. I'll have to reset it. Wow. All right, I'm going to use my type tool. Okay, I can't see them. I'll turn it on right now. Let's do a text box. Click and drag and hold, right? And just type front insert, all caps, insert panel. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's make this, I don't know. Gotta spell it right. I'm at 20 points. Okay, and again, this is just a reminder for you guys. Okay. And right now when we print these, that way you'll know. Oops. All right. Front insert panel. Yeah, everybody got that? Okay. Now let's select that, copy it, option drag. Please remember, don't do copy paste. You guys are young professionals now. You should be able to drag, hold down the option. And then this is going to be back of insert panel, right? Cool. Sorry, I have to zoom in and out. So this is what you should have. It should be on the templates guide layer, right? And then right now when we print these out so you guys can do your mock-ups and your sketches on them, you'll know what we're talking about, okay? But I wanted everybody to do that as well with me. All right, let's hit save. If you have not saved, please do a save as. You might as well do it. You can save it to your cloud if you're going to work on this later. For now, if you want to save it on the desktop. And a reminder, please put your initials so that when you turn stuff in on your name of your file, underscore TN, right? Just do it just like that. Can everybody see that? Let's all save it together. Give you guys a few seconds. All right, everybody got that? Cool. So we have it saved. All right. Now, here's the part I really want you guys to pay attention to. We're not really going to work on the front ones right now, but I'm going to show you how this back panel, right? This is the back insert. And again, when I turn the lights back on, you guys will see what I'm talking about. Okay. Notice how I put two guides right here. You guys see them? Right there. This is what we call the spine. And I even kind of labeled it for you guys. Okay. People forget this part. This is very important. So on a CD, you have a certain thickness, right? It's not like a vinyl or album. Anybody here have any vinyls? Any records? Right? When you put them away, they're normally stacked, vertically. You kind of look at them, and they're very thin. You can't tell what they are really, right? But CDs, it's a different format, and people don't realize this. Yeah, when you would go buy them at the store, if you go to what's that place where they still sell old stuff in the fountains? There's a record store. Anyway, but in the days when you would buy your CDs and catalog them at home, and you guys have seen my CD holder over here. When you would stack them, you could only see the side, right? The profile, not the face of it. So whoever designed the CDs back then, they made sure that the spines had a little bit of information, very tiny, right? And you'll see it when we turn the lights on, so that when you stacked them, you could tell what it was. You would read on there. So normally they had the artist name, maybe the record company, and then some information like an item number or something like that, right? So it has one on both sides. Now I've seen it both ways. Somebody will type it reading down or reading up, and you'll see what I'm talking about that later. So right there, we normally don't have any artwork. It's usually a colored or white strip. All right, now I'm going to show you what I mean by that, but you're not going to do this, okay? I'm just going to show you, but for visualization, if I could find my tools here, hold on, window, toolbars, new toolbar. Give me a second here. I gotta unplug because it's hiding on me because of the projector. Give me a second. Sorry. What's there? I just can't see it. What was that? Oh, I know it fell. Hold on. Toolbar. Advanced. Oh, there it is. It was hiding up in the corner. All right. Here, this should work. Give me a second. And I tried to make a new one. It didn't work. Hold on. All right. And again, please follow along. You are going to turn in this next part. So please do not be on your phones. All right. Okay. Can you guys see? All right. So notice this is what I'm talking about. Don't do this part. But I'm just going to visualize for you guys the spine, right? So you guys are eventually on your design going to create a either black. I mean, I guess you could have some of your artwork going through there, but normally it's black or white, right? You could leave it blank. So we've got these two spines, right? Again, you don't have to do this. And then remember, I already named these layers for you, right? Be very specific. And I know Lexis isn't here to fight me on naming layers. Please name your layers. What do I tell you guys in the real world? Whether you do this in the future or not, right? I can guarantee you, and I'm not saying it to show off or anything, but when I worked in the industry and the print shops, and they would get my files, right? Even I would send files to China. I'm not lying to you guys, through the internet, right? And they would compliment me on how accurate and well named my files are. And again, you guys are in a system right now where that doesn't seem to be an issue, right? Or a problem. But I guarantee you, even at a college level, if you do work for some of the promotional departments at CCTE, at EPCC. I know NMSU has one. A lot of students who've gone there. They sometimes do work for the college itself at UTEP as well. And you're going to be working with other people. You're going to have someone who's your boss. They even have a way of naming files that you might not like, but that's the way they archive all their files. And they want everyone to do it the same way so you don't make any mistakes. You don't save over somebody else's file, right? There's a whole process to that. And I'm just trying to teach you guys a little bit of that. Is it kind of tedious? Is it kind of like very exacting on you? Yes, but you need to have pride, not only in your artwork and your designs, but pride in the way you put your files together. And I think that's a very lost art these days. And that's why I bug you guys all the time. Don't leave stuff untitled. Don't leave stuff on layers that aren't named right. Don't, I hate to say it, be lazy. And if you know something's on the wrong layer, I do it all the time, guys. And even the stuff I present to you guys and give you guys, if I see something's wrong, or you see I have something named on the layer and there's nothing there, let me know, right? That's the whole point of file management. It is literally an art in itself. Those of you guys who are very organized, and I talked to you guys at the beginning of school, if you're an organized person, good for you. Make your files just as organized. Am I the most organized person? No. And I can tell you horror stories of how many hours of my life I had to redo things because I either messed it up, saved over it, lost whole files, right? And I learned the hard way. So I'm trying to tell you guys, don't do that, okay? So text on spines, remember, you're not doing this, but I'm just showing you, okay? I'm gonna lock this one. So the text is gonna be very, very small, right? But you're already kind of understanding how this works, right? And then if I get my text tool real quick, again, then we'll go on to the Photoshop real quick and then we'll get to work. So I'm gonna make something very thin and I'm gonna say super dope. So I'm just making this up. All right. Super dope sounds. I'll make this white. Command T. I'm gonna lower the font size. And I don't know, I've never had anybody, you know how we talk about not doing vertical type? I mean, this is vertical, but not the S and the U and the P, right? So you see what I'm doing here? So this is going to be very, very small, probably 8 to 10 points, right? So that would be the title of my CD, right? I just made that up. And then down here, you're going to see, I've seen stuff down as small as 7 points. And then that's where you're going to be able to put your copyright or your date, right? You remember how we did the thank you card and I had you guys do the UPC? Yeah. So we're going to put the date on here, you know, whenever we finish, right? And you could put like just what's the term? Fake it till you make it, right? Item number. Let's see. And again, you know, it's having fun with creating something that doesn't exist, right? Item number, and then you can put the date. I don't know. We'll get to that part, but I wanted to illustrate how important it is to know that you're not going to put artwork there. Okay. So having said that, here's the next step. Let's hit save if you haven't done anything. All right. Now, this is very important, and a lot of people don't get this. Okay. So notice how there's an outside guide, this one, the kind of bluish, purplish one. Can you guys see it up there? The outside one? I want everybody to select that. That is literally our background for this template, right? So when we start designing this CD, right, our artwork is going to be no bigger than that. That already includes the bleed, right? You guys know these crop marks, right? These guys from our card that we did, right? Earlier in the semester, last 9 weeks, right? Don't get confused with these being the guides for the spine, okay? So they're two separate things, and we'll go over that later. So having said that, I want everybody to select that outer guide. Select it like that with a regular arrow, and then let's go to transform. I want to show you guys something. And this is a cool trick. A lot of people don't know this if they haven't done a lot of print. So it's telling me, and everybody should have the same. Tell me if you're not. You should say it's 6.17 by 4.88. Does everyone see that on transform once you select it? No? That outer one. This is the third panel, the last one, the one that says spine. Select that outer guide and then go to transform. That's the one that lets us see the size of objects or groups of objects, and we can also edit it from there. Anybody not see that? And I'll come help you real quick because this is really critical. All right, so you select the outer one, go to transform, and it should automatically tell you right here. Anyone not have this going on? I really want you guys to have it. Ava, you got it? Yeah? Okay. Jocelyn? All right, so guys, please zoom in too, because if you're far away, you can't select what I'm talking. Select that one. And then window transform. So all you're doing is selecting that outer. There it is. All right. Now, some of you guys, I noticed it'll say 6.15, 6.3, 6.875. If it's off a little bit, not exactly that, that's fine. It shouldn't, but get it? Transform 6.1. Oh, that's good. Alan, you got it? Yes, no. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Okay, you got it, Stephen? Okay, so this is really critical. Please pay attention. You got it? Command C, copy. All right. Now, like I said, it's an old trick. Let's go to your Finder. Now, if some of you guys have Photoshop down on the dock, down here, I know it's kind of hard to see up there, then go ahead and open it. If you don't, let's go to Finder, go to your apps. I hope everybody should have Photoshop. Right here, mine is 2024. Yours might be the updated 2025. Does everybody see it? Anybody that doesn't see it, let me know. Remember, this is a folder. If you look at it, you have to open this up or go inside. And then this is the actual app. If you don't have it on your dock, before you click on it, drag it to the dock and it'll now be on the dock. Okay? Otherwise, let's launch Photoshop. Remember what we have in memory, we copied something, right? Photoshop? Good. Just hold on. Anyway, you got Photoshop? Anyone not have Photoshop open? David? Oh, wow. You guys already opened some of the pictures. I guess. Okay. All right. That's not what I wanted to do yet, but okay. So have Photoshop open. All right. You ready? Remember what we copied? A lot of people don't know this one. Yeah. Yeah. Why? Do you want to? Oh yeah, no, it's fun. You'll be amazed how fun it is to do, and then people start wanting to do more. I've had students who have bands, and then he started doing like 20, 30 of them. Well, I ran out of cases because of that guy, but that's fine. All right. What's that? Really? All right. His name's Daniel. Oh, you know him. All right. And Ever. Those guys? Oh, cool. All right. If he was still here, if he didn't win a grad, he'd probably be making CDs right now. All right. So everyone, I want you to do new file or Command N if you don't see that. Don't click on anything over here, but notice if you go here to inches, what do you see when you do Command N? If you're in the Photoshop file, Command N. Nathaniel, David. But did you guys copy the thing from the Illustrator? I don't think you did. Because if you would have did new, watch. It's okay. It's okay. Copy. Take your caps lock off. Come on. All right. Command N. Look at that. See how it changed? Go to inches. Go to inches, guys, on the pixels. Go to inches and tell me what it says. You okay with that?
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah, no, you did it right. All right. See, it's because some of you guys are opening up the pictures just to see Command C, Photoshop, and then Command N or new, and notice how the width and the height should populate itself, and then you put it in inches and tell me what it tells you. It should tell you that it's exactly the same size as the guide you copied from Illustrator. Yes or no? You shouldn't have to go in there and type this. Ava, did it work? Allie, did it work? Jocelyn, did it work? No. Let's see. Cancel. Close. Close. Go to your Illustrator. Yeah. Command C. Okay, go to your folder. Command N. Look at that. Oh, that's weird. Oh, you know what? You might have used the go back to Illustrator. If you're using the direct select arrow, yeah, no. If you're using the direct select arrow on Illustrator, you're only selecting one. See, Command C. Command N. There it goes. Yeah, okay, inches. So this is a trick to do because if you're ever designing something in Illustrator, right, and you need your Photoshop file to be exactly the same size, then that's what you do. You copy that. It actually learns what size shape or object you copied from Photoshop, from Illustrator. All right. Now, we haven't talked a lot about resolution because Illustrator kind of takes care of it for us because it's vector. Any of you guys who've taken Photoshop before, and I wish Kian was here so she could fight me on this. This is very important and very critical. You're going to type 300 on the resolution at this point when you're creating this file. There's nothing in it yet, but we're making a high-res Photoshop file from scratch, right? And this hasn't changed in the industry, right? 300 pixels per inch. Make sure you're in inches, right? And it should be close to what we copied, right? This is very important. You guys that love to do artwork and drawings on your iPads and your iBiz Pro and your, what's the other program on your iPad, Ava, that you used to draw? Procreate, right? I'm telling you guys right now, from this day forward, if you create any of your beautiful artwork on an iPad, on any app, make sure you start it off at 300 pixels per inch. I get tons of students every year, very talented, amazing drawings. And then they say, Mister, can I print this in a big poster? And then we try it, and they started off the file at 72 pixels per inch. And when we try to blow it up, there's not enough pixels there, right? This is the correct way to start off a 300 pixels per inch high resolution. This is what high resolution is, okay? Now, this is a very small file, right? Because it's just a CD, right? And nowadays, you guys are lucky, but back in my early days, and I think I've told you guys some of the stories, we had computers that would take hours to save a Photoshop file with, say, 12 layers. All right, I'm not exaggerating. In the 90s, yes, in the 90s, before you guys were even thoughts, right? I would be working on a big giant file for like a display, and I would hit save, and I would leave and go to lunch and come back an hour later, and it still wasn't saved. Ms. Luna, do you agree? All right. And now you guys have no worries about file space or running out of file. I don't know. The only thing I think you guys are run into is, Mister, I can't email this and it's over 25 megabytes. Yeah, email can't send you a 25 megabyte file through email. You have to upload it to a cloud, right? Or a 1 gigabyte file. And you know, when you guys send me the sticker files that are like close to a gig or 300 megabytes or 400, there's no way to email that, right? We have to use, drive systems like Google Drive. In the old days, we used an FTP system, which would upload it to somebody's server, download it to another one, and so forth. So this is the correct way, 300 pixels per inch. Super important, CMYK color. Everybody got that? Yes? All right. Hit create. You should have this file here. All right, we got a little bit more. I know you guys are getting antsy and maybe even sleepy because it's afternoon, and I know turning the lights off on you gets tough. All right, we're getting there. This won't take a little bit longer. All right, let's go to the internet and go to unsplash.com. Remember, this is just for our purposes here. You know when you can't spell? There you go. And I'm showing you guys this one, right? We're going to do some textures. And if there's something inappropriate there, don't click on it. David, that's the wrong website. Guys, unsplash.com. Come on. No, it'll take you to something else. Have you ever typed instead of Gmail something else and it takes you to another site? Anybody? Yeah. All right, don't do that. All right, is everybody on unsplash.com? Yes? Type. And if you're not, I'll help you out right now. Vintage handwriting. Or vintage letter. Let's see. Let's do vintage handwriting. Oh, let's do it. Oh, there it is. There it is. This one. I want this one. Does everybody see this one? It's right there in the middle. I want everybody to use the same stuff. So we have kind of, David. Oh, weird. It's not. Okay, it's not David's fault. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, you know what the next step is? Oh, weird. How come I did it at work? Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, no, I did. I apologize. All right, everybody see that one? Okay, type vintage handwriting. Download that one. Vintage handwriting. Type vintage handwriting. Oh, no, it's okay. It's all right. Everybody download it. Remember, this is where you can get really nice high-res images. They are other people's. Oh, that showed this happened in California. Okay. So again, remember, these are people like you and me, right? Artists, photographers, some are professionals, some are not. You can, if you use some of their images, you can tell them, you can give them, what do they say, credit, right? Again, I would stay away from just printing it out and printing a poster and putting some text and selling it. It's yours, right? You can't do that. I mean, you can, but there's some ethics and some morals there that you need to work on. All right, so let's download this one. All right, now what's cool about this website is they are very high quality. They're large images, and right now I'm going to show you a little image sizing. Okay, the next, let's do old paper. Oh. Ooh, there's some nice ones. I don't know which one to get. Hold on. I kind of like this one. Does everybody see this one? It's kind of like stained on the side. Yeah? I know you guys are. You know, when you guys get older, when people get older, they call them sundowners. Anybody heard of this? Yeah, I think that's what's happening. When you get older, even if you fight it like me, I try to stay up as long as I can. But when you get older, and it goes back to caveman days before they had artificial light, here's a whole other story. Okay, I'll make it quick. Before human beings knew how to make fake light out of fire and light bulbs, when the sun went down, you were like every other animal that was a daytime animal. You go to sleep, like it would like just overpower you, right? Right? Because we're not like a wolf or something that hunts in the night, right? They're not nighttime. So you would naturally, that's when we naturally go to sleep. So as you get older, human beings tend to go to sleep sooner. That's why some of the older generation, they like my father-in-law literally goes to sleep like at 8, 7:30. I'm like, how do you do that? But yet he's up at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 in the morning with no alarm. Anyway, little side. Oh, that one's blocked. All right, hold on. That one, I just saw when they have a plus, that means you got to pay for them. Sorry. Let's go to one of these wrinkled ones. Sorry. let's do this one. Sorry. This one on the side, Julia Major. It's kind of great. Guys, go back because that one was they wanted to charge us for it. This one on the side, white paper on white text. It's still the same search, but it's like crumbled up paper. Right? Now, a lot of people say, "Hey, Nova, why are you showing them where to get all these files?" Again, sometimes we don't have a lot of time, right? And if you're just using something like a texture, could you physically get a piece of paper, crumple it up, take a picture of their phone, put it on your computer? Yes. And I encourage that if you want to feel like you made something from scratch, right? But in the real world that you guys aren't in yet, sometimes you need to do something quick. Am I going to get in trouble if I don't give Julia Major credit for using her crumpled paper? Most probably not. And maybe I'm only going to use part of it, right? Now, that's where you have to be careful when it comes to copyright, because I could download like a beautiful picture of a Porsche. And then if I download it and I make a poster and I start selling them in a court of law, if that photographer finds out that I'm using it or selling it online, they can definitely try and sue me, right? Because I'm saying I did that or I made it. And all I did was download their picture, which they voluntarily put up here, and they're asking you to give them credit, right? There's nothing wrong with contacting one of these guys and say, "Hey, I love your photography. I'm a young designer. I have customers that would pay if we made posters out of this. How about we go in business together and split, whatever we make off of them?" That's a whole other story, isn't it? Right? So, and I've told you guys, some of you guys are very talented. You guys have amazing drawing skills, conceptual skills, photography. The second you put your stuff up there, can someone take it? Yeah, they can. All right. So let's go to this one. Let's download this one. Oh, that one's very nice. So we just downloaded the crumpled paper. And if you got a slightly different one, that's okay. And then the first one was the writing. Yes, everybody good? We're going to wrap this up. All right. Let's go back to our Photoshop file of our back panel. Now, remember, this is a very small file, right? It's literally the size of a back of a CD, right? And here's something you guys don't know. Let's go to image and image size right here in Photoshop. Image, go back to your Photoshop file with nothing in it that we made. Image size. Go to your Photoshop. David, go to Photoshop. Go back to your Photoshop file. All right, we'll get you one right now. I'll get you one right now. Yeah. Go to top menu, image size. Okay. And I want everybody to see this. Every Photoshop file has this information available. All right. And it's really critical because I don't want you to be that person. And it happened to me this morning. I had a fellow junior student in the morning class designing a cool poster that he wants me to print. And what did I ask him? What size is that? And I said, please don't tell me you don't know. All right. So I don't want to ever ask you guys, what size is that? Guess what? You can find out, right? You're young people in the 21st century. You can go to image size and tell me. So this is 6.617 inches, right? We already know this. We know the resolution. Every single Photoshop file has this information. Okay. So let me show you something else. Command O, go to the folder of the stuff I gave you guys on Schoology. So go to downloads. Oh, I didn't uncompress mine. Some of you guys already had some of those pictures open. So go to downloads. Pics to use, right here, zip, unzip it, right? Now, remember, if you just click on these, you're not opening them with Photoshop. That is preview, right? Or just our picture viewer. Anybody ever seen this file? That picture? Anybody know it? Okay. All right, let's go to Photoshop. Be in Photoshop, Command O is the correct way, or you can drag and drop. Go to my downloads. And I want you to open that one that says screenshot. Command O. You're not making a new file, not a new file. Command O. And then open up this one. Does anybody know this artist? Khalid? Yeah. Anybody know him? He's from El Paso. And believe it or not, this is my neighbor's house. I live right here in Central. That Mustang is still there. He wants me to help him get it ready. Yeah, you have a photo with him too? Oh, you guys can Photoshop me in there later, right? I've been giving him the stare. How about if I give him the stare? Right? Yeah, Ali, you like that? Okay, all right. Now, notice right away you can see the pixel dimensions are ginormous. Go to image and image size. I literally looked this up on the internet and took a screenshot from Instagram. Image size. What do you guys see? It's not 300 pixels per inch, is it? Right? Do you guys see what I'm talking about? This is when you take a screenshot on your computer, that's the maximum resolution. So would you guys consider it high res? Look at how pixelated or pixelized, what do people like to call it? Pixelized, pixelated, right? Why? Because it's just a screenshot, right? Also, I don't even know what format this is. We'll check it. So here's the issue. Please do not be that person. Everybody looking? Everybody watching? You're going to say, oh, I'm going to make it high res by typing 300. Bad. Wrong. All you're doing is adding more pixels. The best way I can explain this is, who likes a beautiful, delicious, sweet iced tea from Whataburger? Anybody? Anybody drink tea at all? No one drinks tea. All right, Ava drinks tea. How about do you add sugar at all? A little bit? When you have it just right, right? What happens if you come over and you pour a bunch more water in it and you mess it up? Or coffee, or one of those beverages, or your favorite soda, and you come and add water to it. What happens? Huh? You just thin it out, right? You mess it up. This is the same thing. Don't do this. I see so many people, even I know professional people, oh, I'll make it high res. This does not work. All you're doing is adding more pixels. You're watering it down and making it worse. Now, there is some AI stuff out there that I've been experimenting with that supposedly can sharpen a low res image. And I'm sure you've seen it all over the internet, Instagram, Facebook. They kind of work, but I don't think we're there yet. And especially if you're going to print out something the size of a banner, say for you get hired by a museum to do some of their graphics, and they're ginormous, the size of a wall, right? You need high res images, period, if you're going to use photography, right? To blow something up and make it look good, right? In the old days, we used to have billboards that were printed out, sometimes even painted by hand, even probably in my generation, all right? And you couldn't tell, but they were a little bit pixelated, but from far away you couldn't tell, because if anybody knows this, a billboard's actually 14 feet by 40 feet long. It's huge, right? The standard one, the spectacular large size, right? So pixels have a lot to do with it. Do not, if you learn anything from this lesson today, don't get a low res image and type 300. Oh, I got an instant high res. This does not work. Don't do that, right? So the other option is hit cancel on that. The other option is, can I bring this file into my high res image? I can. And then we're going to do that right now. Okay. Now, they're two different resolutions, right? And you'll notice right now, watch this. Everybody have your CMYK file that you made, brand new, 300 pixel width, and have this one, but you got to separate them. See how I have them separated? Everybody looking? Yes? I promise we're almost done. I know I'm losing some of you guys. Everybody there? Notice the layers, and I want you to go to Window, Layers. I'll give you guys a few seconds here. We're almost done. We're very close. We're so very close, guys. I know. And then we'll take a quick break. Everybody there? Yes? Matias? What are you eating? What are you eating over there? Oh, sounds like you got a blow pop or something. I wish I had a blow pop. Okay, you guys ready? Notice I have them separate. Yeah. Again, I'm recording this so you guys will see. Look at my layers. And one of the ways you can get this Photoshop image into this one is by dragging the layer. Watch what's going to happen. That layer, that file was actually physically larger, this one, image size, right? Almost 7 by 8 inches. But because of the resolution, right? I brought it into a 300 pixel per inch document and it sized it down because it had to, right? There was no way they were going to match up. Okay. So we went from that to this. And I don't know if you guys noticed, my screenshot was RGB. So there is some color changing of the color profile there automatically by dragging it in there. Now, is it going to print okay at this small 6 inch? It probably will, right? You probably get away with it, but it is still not a very good quality image. All right. Cool. Let's do this. Command O, the last one before we take a little bit of a break. Look at the maple PNG one. Everybody there? Ah, that's my old doggy. Look at her. She looks goofy there, huh? Yeah. She passed away already, unfortunately. Yeah, she was awesome. All right. Do the same thing. Let's go to image size. We're almost done. Notice this. Okay. When you take pictures with your phone, this is straight from my phone, right? They come in at 72 pixels per inch, but that does not mean they're low res. That just means they're large images. And if you're using a DSLR camera, right, or a nice fancy camera, Lexi's not here with her camera today, but it's okay for it to be 72 when it's a large file. Do you guys see the size on this? 30 inches by 17 and a quarter. If you look down on the ground below you where your feet are, do you see these tiles? Everybody see them? These are 12 inches square. This is 1 foot each. So this file is almost 3 of those tiles, right? That here on your feet. It's a little bit shorter than it's halfway on the third one by 17 point. That's about maybe 1/4 of the way into the next set. So see the difference between a screenshot from the internet on my computer and something from my phone, right? Now here's something interesting, and you're not gonna have to do this too much, but say I want to fit this um, into my CD design. Most people will just do this. Watch this. Everybody watching? Same thing. I'm dragging that layer. Yes. Look what happened. It's ginormous, right? It's ginormous, but if you get the move arrow over here, you can move it around, right? You may have to do some scaling. Command T for transform in Photoshop. Okay. Command T. So hit return, right? And there's a whole other lesson on image sizing. Not a lot of people cover image sizing on photos, right? But there is that. Okay. And then we're gonna open up the one we downloaded, the one with the vintage writing, Command O, right? And I know I'm going a little bit fast here because I know I'm kind of losing some people. But again, all we're doing is dragging and dropping some of these files. Now, this one's beautiful in high res. It's also large. Look at that. Cool. So I'm adding all these files. Now, watch this. I've got my vintage writing. I've got my dog layer, and I need to name those right now. I've got the Khalid. Everybody watching? Just like Illustrator, we've got our blend modes. I want you to choose some and just get it to start blending. Oh, I like that one. See how the type is blending into the dog? The dog one, can I blend that in? Oh, that's cool. And you'll get some cool, ooh, that one's kind of interesting. Ah, and this is how you kind of start putting together, if you want to call it a collage. Look, I'm going to move this over. I'm going to move this guy over here. right? Command T to scale. Remember, don't in Photoshop, you just do the option if you want to scale from the center out, right? Very simple blend modes, right? I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm going to name these dog, writing. All right, and I know some people are probably struggling. I'll come around, okay? But I just wanted you to see that stuff. How can we start putting something together in Photoshop from Illustrator, right? So watch this. I'm going to save this. Whatever you did in Photoshop, I'm going to name it back panel. And this is the end of it right here. I know some of you guys are struggling. It was a long lecture, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to save it as a PSD, right? And I go back to my Illustrator file. And I have now created, I'm going to put it on its own layer, new layer, back panel. Back panel artwork. I'm going to bring it to, yeah, that's the underneath there. I'm going to move that layer. How do we place stuff in Illustrator? Somebody place an Illustrator. Huh? Command P? That's print.
Oh, no. Shift Command no.
Nathan, thank you. Shift Command P. Check it out. There's my back panel that you guys just made with me. It fits exactly because we made it from that. You see, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And now I've got a background, right? Now I can put another layer and put the track list here. Again, this is nothing fancy, right? I didn't make a big effort, but you see how it starts coming together, right? Yes, everybody see that? And here's the coolest part. This will end it. If I go back to my Photoshop file, and I think I was working with somebody in here on something, right? Everybody watching? If I come in here and edit this, watch, what if I just do, ooh, I like that one. Look, it's like blown out, right? As they say. I just did a simple edit, just the blend mode, Command S, and I save it because it's linked in my Illustrator file. It's going to ask me, hey, I just saw that you did an edit in that PSD file you had placed in here. Would you like me to update it? Yes. And it'll update it. Cool. Whatever change you make to that PSD, right? Illustrator is going to want to know about it. And you can see how Illustrator and Photoshop work together. I wish Kian was here. I would really want her to see this because she's always fighting me on this. Oh, look at that one. Oh, that turned out cool. Just a simple blend mode. Look at that. Looks like a negative, right? Kind of cool. Anybody like this one? No? Look at that. It just kind of happened. And I go back and it says, do you want to update? There it is. Look. Kind of cool? Not cool? Interesting?
Yes.
Ah. All right. Any questions on this? And I know some people are going to need some help. That's fine. All right. I want to wrap this up because I know that's a long one. But I just want to show you now. Do you have to do this? Not necessarily, but I am going to put criteria for the back of this front panel. I am going to have you guys do Photoshop for this. You do not have to do Photoshop for this one if you don't want to, but I just show you how you can, right? This would work the same for this one, which is what you're going to do later. I'll assign that later. Could you do your whole entire design just with Illustrator with clipping masks? Yes, you can, right? But I wanted to introduce the whole Photoshop part of it because you are going to do it for this panel, okay? Any questions right off the bat before we take a quick break and I stop? Everybody good? If you lost track, I understand, right? I'll post this video shortly and obviously I'll come and help you guys out individually. And then we're going to print out the template so you guys can start kind of sketching out your ideas, okay? Any immediate questions? No? Kind of cool, not cool? I know it's late, guys. I know it's late and you're struggling. So that's it. Let's stop on that. Make sure you save your file. I am going to ask you to screenshot whatever you got done today and upload it on the one where I gave you the template and the photos. Even if you didn't get to finish, that's fine. Just give me a screenshot. Show me that you were following along. Preferably the Photoshop file placed like that. If not, I'll come around and help you to get to that point. Cool? All right, let me stop the recording.